So we're talking about the circle of fifths. All the circle of fifths really is all of the major scales arranged not alphabetically, but in the way that they relate to one another. So here at the top is C major, and C major is related to G major in the same way that G major is related to D major, and that D major is related to A, and that A is related to E, and E to B, and B to F sharp. Now I'm going very quickly here, but it's okay because I don't want you to take any notes. I don't want you to remember any of this stuff. I'm just giving you the overview of how all these things work. So C major is just the white keys on the piano. It's none of the sharps, none of the flats. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C, all the natural notes. Now it's called the circle of fifths because the fifth note of one key is the first note of the next key that shows up on the circle. In this case, the fifth note of C is G, and G major is spelled G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And if you looked at the fifth note of G major, you have D, and D major is spelled D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. The fifth note of D major is A, and A major is spelled A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Now, at this point, you might well be wondering, how do I know which notes go into each key? How do I know when to use the sharp or when to use the natural note? There's a little thing that we can do that, say, a piano player or a trumpet player couldn't do, because we're guitar players, we have shapes, and it tends to be our primary way of looking at the instrument. We could take this shape, which I'm sure you've seen before. It's the A major scale, and it's just a scale shape that we can slide up and down that sixth string. I happen to have it here starting on the A on the sixth string, and you could walk through and find the names of each of those notes. You could use the shape to find the names, and pretty quickly you'd see that this note here isn't C natural, it's C sharp, and this one isn't F natural, it's F sharp, and this one isn't G natural, it's G sharp. We're going to do that over the next couple of weeks, but it's not what I want to show you today. What I do want to show you today is a few patterns that emerge inside of this circle of fifths that are pretty cool. First thing I got to do is put the rest of these up here. This is just the right-hand side of the circle of fifths, what we call the sharp keys. It's got all the sharps. We're going to cover the flat keys tomorrow. So the first pattern that I want you to notice is that the sharps accumulate. They're cumulative. So here, this F sharp that appears for the first time in the key of G never goes back to being F natural. In each successive key, you've got F sharps in here. And then when the C sharp shows up in the key of D, that does the exact same thing. And I could do this for each of them. I won't do that now. I just want to tell you that sharps are cumulative. So because the sharps are cumulative, each successive key has one more sharp than the one that came before it. So key of C has no sharps, no flats. The key of G has one sharp. D has two sharps. A has three sharps. E has four. B has five. F sharp has six sharps. So the second thing I want you to know there is that the number of sharps increases the farther from C that you get. Now, we know that they're cumulative and that they add up and they increase as you go. We also need to know what's the new sharp that gets added in each key. So if you look at this F sharp in the key of G, that's 1/2 step below the root note. So the root note is the name of the key, and a half step is just 1 fret distance on your guitar. So 1 fret lower than G is F sharp, just like a half step below D is a C sharp, and 1 fret below A is G sharp, and from E it's D sharp. You can see each of these. Here's all of them, all lit up for you. And the new sharp in each successive key is a half step below the root note. So, things you need to know for tomorrow. The circle of fifths is just all the major scales arranged by how they relate to one another and not alphabetically. And the way that they relate to one another is the fifth note of one is the first note of the next. The sharps and the flats are cumulative, and the number of sharps increases the farther from C that you get. And the new sharp in each successive key is a half step below the root note. Let's get those things committed to memory. I'll see you tomorrow on this. If you're finding this just out in the wild on YouTube and you want to be a part of this and you want to get the series of daily emails that explains all this and helps you internalize it in about 5-10 minutes a day, you can go over to Fretboard Anatomy. The short link is fret.cc/circle, or you can click the link in the comments or the notes section rather of this video. Thanks.